I want to go over a couple of tips for putting your resume together. When you start putting a resume together, you want to make sure that it is clear and legible, that it's listing your full work history, and that your skills are demonstrated concisely throughout your resume. To get started, let's start with your work history. You want to list your last 10 to 15 years of work history relevant on your resume. Of course, you want to make sure you're listing your full work history so that way it's showing consistent tenure in your jobs um, and showing your consistent career, that you don't have gaps in your resume where it looks like you weren't working. Ideally, you also want to make sure that your skill set is very legible in your job descriptions. So, whenever you're going on to put a new position in that you've worked, you want to put your job title, you want to put the company you worked for, and you want to put the time you were with the company. So, put what date you started, what date you ended, month and year minimum. But if you have exact dates, that's even better. Then you want to make sure you're listing clear paragraphs, bullet points, or paragraphs, either one, but that they're clear, full sentences, understandable, and explains your work history perfectly, your skill sets, what you learned, what you did every day on the job. You want to make sure you're listing the newest career first and your oldest career last. Ideally, you want the recruiter to see your most recent career so that way they can see that you've been working in positions that are relevant to what they're trying to hire you for, to show that your experience is still very new and relevant. That being said, you also want to make sure you're listing any education you have for a position. You want to make sure you're listing any degrees, any certifications you've obtained, anything that might be beneficial to the position on your resume. Make sure that it's all very clear and legible, that you're using a easy to read font such as Times New Roman or Century Gothic, that it's a 10 to 12 point font so it's easy to read but not overly large when reviewing it. I also recommend putting a cover letter together just to speak directly to the recruiter to let them know, a little bit about yourself and what you're looking for. Ideally, when you present your resume to a recruiter, you don't want to leave them asking a ton of questions. You want any conversation between them being more of them to get to know you, more time them just understanding who you are as a person and whether you would be a great fit out at their company, personality wise, culturally wise, and that really your skill set speaks for itself on your resume. Any questions they have might be minor details, just trying to understand that you've used the same equipment or worked in the same type role that they're looking to hire for. That being said, you also want to make sure you're listing your full contact information. No, you don't have to put your full address or anything out there, but you want to make sure that you're listing at least your zip code, a good phone number to reach you at, and a good email address to reach you at. If for some reason they can't get you by phone, you want them to be able to send you an email and reach out to you so you make sure you don't miss that recruiting opportunity to find a new position. Make sure that you're keeping your resume relevant, up to date continuously, and that any information that might be relevant for the job is listed on there. Keep updating it as you work new positions, as you get new certifications, as you do new things, and make sure you're not presenting a resume that is out of date to a recruiter. You want to make sure that they have everything in front of them so that it's a very easy decision and the decision is yes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're always here to help. And thank you so much for tuning in.